long-term date. She is saying hi to everyone.
Great. You say hi to Constance. Hi, Constance. Have fun with the dog.
Hey, Connie. Hadar is also not going to be able to join. Hey
Great.
from Hadar.
Great. So welcome everybody to the open Zoom this week. So only 4, 5. Oh wait, let me let Michael in.
Just the six of us. Ta, 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 ta,
We
ta.
can make it if we try.
Just the six of us.
Well, that's the question, you know.
No, tell me. What's the question?
Well, the song you were singing was "We Can Make It If We Try," and I mean that's it. You know, they're trying to make it. We can make it if we try is this already, you know, the sense that you can make this life, that you can fix it, that you can make it the way you want is already just simply this. So there's just simply this, and with this I mean the directness of whatever is happening, sitting in a Zoom meeting, Rosa singing a song, Tony watching intensively at the screen, Chris sitting quiet, you know, Michael not having his picture on. That's just simply this. So with this, I mean the directness of whatever is happening or what seems to be happening. Let's call it life, you know? That's just life. And there's already no one separate having the skin in this life, you know? Having a skin in this life. There's just this. There's no one separated from this. It's no one's skin in this life, and at the same time the skin is life, and the idea that there is a separated you owning something in this life or having a life is life itself, so to say. And not even that, I mean just words dancing around, which is equally just this, words dancing around and the liking of those words and liking of the suggestion or the, some people call it a belief or a knowing or a concept or whatever, you know, it doesn't matter. It's equally just this. Here I'm pretty okay with people calling this a belief or a concept or a story. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it a belief. There's just no one separated from the words. There's just a body producing a sound, and the sounds which it seems to produce or understand it in a certain way, and there's no one doing the understanding. At the same time, understanding yes and no is simply already what is. Just this. So Michael, put on your picture, brother. You're always saying, I love people. I love to see people. Of course, if you're decent and we don't want to see a naked butt there or somebody trying to take a shit, whatever. I'm thinking about probably people who have seen the meeting. Michael got a Zoom bomber, somebody doing strange things in a Zoom meeting, which is this too, you know? I mean, yeah. So the idea that, well, I'm going to desk this meeting and I'm going to shit in a bucket and show it is already just simply this. As is laughing about it or thinking it's devastating and trying to keep those people out. It's equally just this, the liking of it, the not liking of it. So this week I got an email from a therapist, and yeah, it's quite interesting, you know, the need, you know, the need or the interest, let me say, the interest to become a therapist or psychologist or uh, somebody else who needs who helps people is already just this. So the need to become or the interest to become a psychologist is just simply this. There's no one doing the interest. There's no one owning the interest. You know, the interest to help people in a certain way, like helping a lady cross the street. It's just innocently happening. There's no one doing that, you know. There's no one owning the interest. It just arises, so to say. The interest to become a teacher, the interest to speak about non-duality. It's already just innocently this. And there's nothing wrong, you know, with trying to help people. There's nothing wrong with trying to help an old lady crossing the street. There's nothing wrong with helping a friend in need. But there's just no one separated having any needs or needing help. At the same time, there's just an intense need for help or guidance or whatever you want to call it. And then there's an innocent providing of help or not, which is just equally just what's happening. So Chris, you're looking out the window, brother. Tell me what's going on there. We didn't see you last week. You missed it.
Yeah,
I understand.
yeah, I was working, so I missed it. But it was probably good. I need a break once in a while from these meetings.
Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean it's weird. It feels like I mean it seems like every time I come to these meetings, there's like a little bit of terror and dread of exposure. Even now, like even today, and I mean, I mean, it is kind of seen that it's just what's happening. It's not really mine, but it's still there. It's
Oh
still
yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's still this fear of being exposed as a phony or a fraud or uh yeah, there's a lot of thinking that something is gotten or that I see this or and being exposed for that for not seeing it. I think there is just wanting to come here for the full humility that no one gets this. There's no one here that got anything. Um, but yeah, I honestly don't know why I keep coming to meetings. Honestly, I mean, I do enjoy seeing you, Sander, and Rosa, and Michael, and everyone else. Yeah,
It's enough, you know. It doesn't need to be more than that, you know. The enjoyment, you know, to chat, you know, it's okay. You know, there's just an enjoyment to see certain characters and to talk. What's the big deal? It doesn't need to be more or less. It's just simply what it is, you know? It's the same here. I like to see this character there wearing the beanie, Don, for example, and Rose and Patricia and Tony and Garrett I like, and Michael I speak practically every day. And yeah, you know, that's it. You know, this liking to you know to do a chat or whatever, you know, or to have doubts about coming or not coming or will I come next week? It all just dances around. Words are coming out, you know,
yeah.
about exposure and, you know, do I see this? Do I don't see this? How is this going to evolve? And will I say the right words or well, it's all just this already. The fear for exposure, whatever that means.
I guess I just don't understand why there still feels like a stance on things. Um, like when I was expressed to you the other day, I had a reaction to a speaker that was very prescriptive and it was obviously he had his own academy and it was very obvious that he was selling happiness and making money off of non-dual concepts and um, that just made me angry Um,
Yeah.
It's obvious. It seems kind of like it's just the conditioning of this character here. I grew up as a Christian, and I grew up thinking money was evil, and and I grew up listening to a lot of phony pastors and preachers, and so it feels like there's just this. It's not even mine, but it's just what's happening. This idea that that's quote unquote bad, or that's not helping people, or um, it's harming them in some way. But at the same time, it's just this. It's just what's happening.
Yeah, it's
I don't
beautiful to
know.
say it.
Yeah,
Sorry
but
to.
I don't know. I don't know if that conditioning, like, does that conditioning sort of soften over time, or?
Well, I was just wanting to get into that conditioning because the therapist he wrote me. Maybe you've seen the post about conditioning, and you said I grew up, with certain ideas. So let's call it conditioning, let's call it conditioning. So there was a conditioning. So I would say there's just a conditioning, there's no one who is being conditioned, so to say. There's just simply conditioning. It's not yours. You don't own it. No one done it. At the same time, there are all these types of beliefs, ideas, that money is bad, or that Satan is the devil and stuff like that. It's just innocently this. Let's call it conditioning. And this conditioning may just simply change. It may just simply stop, or collapse, or whatever you want to call it, dissolve, and it's just simply playing on its own. There's just simply conditioning, and this may just simply certain so-called parts of this conditioning may just simply stop, or may just simply shift or change. And you know like you said, it has already nothing to do with you. There's not a separated you from this conditioning. There's no one doing it, and there's no one owning this conditioning. At the same time, there's just ideas, beliefs, concepts, dancing around about what is good, what is bad, what is needed, what is wanted, and this may just simply change. It was already just simply this already. From the so-called start to the finish, this is just dancing around, Certain needs, certain beliefs, certain ideas will stop, will continue, will change, will shift, will drop. But they don't drop for you. There's no one separated from the ideas or the conditioning. And
Yeah.
even the idea that this conditioning, so even the idea that this conditioning is bad is the same conditioning in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just surprising that it plays out on its own.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
exactly, and surprisement and amazement and wondering and awe, or how you want to call it, is equally just this, the surprisement that it's just this, or that it's playing on its own, or whatever, or the resonating with the suggestion and the getting hyped up about it is already just simply this. It's already the case. It's already just amazement. Like you said, that it's just playing on its own. God damn, what, how is it possible?
Well, I'd like to say good morning, everybody, first of all.
Good
Or
morning,
it's morning
Tom.
here. So conditioning and that it's all happening. Yes. But part of me hears that as, well, so I'm going to throw in that I'm going to say, as an individual me, I'll say that the conditioning that I have had in my life is like your, different but similar. And yes, it's just what happened or what is happening, but it doesn't leave me powerless, because with that conditioning, so I come to the meeting. So why do I come to the meeting? Well, ultimately, I come for enlightenment, but I knock it down a few rungs and just go, well, being in this meeting and listening to Chris and what he said, and I'm a little bit more aware of my conditioning, the difficult parts of my conditioning, and with that awareness and seeing that it was just that way, but there's the awareness of that which gives me more freedom around that conditioning. And so that sometimes I don't hear this in meetings a lot. It's just my hearing, of course. Like, okay, it all is as it is. Absolutely. And part of all is doing things to shift around what already all is.
Well, the beautiful part you said, Don, is I mean, this is not a powerless thing, but there's no one having any power as a separated you having the power. But at the same time, there are many things which can be done, changing conditioning, seeing different perspectives. But there's just no one separated from changing perspectives,
So the changing of the perspective, so that's just happening.
Well,
but it's got. Go ahead.
Well, we can say it's just happening ultimately, or it as it seems, or as far as knowing goes, or as is belief is going, it is happening. Yes, in that sense. But I mean, there are many things, There's just simply there's doing, There's doing a meeting, there's doing listening, but there's no one separated from that body or from that ears, from the physical system, doing the doing. There's just simply doing or not doing. There's an interest to see things from a different perspective, or there may be an interest to change the conditioning. But these interests are just equally not done by anyone separated from the interest, or from the putting energy in the so-called change.
I just hear that as, well, then there's nothing to do. That's why I hear that.
There are many things to do, Don.
But not by choice. It's going to do it, or it's not going to do it. Like,
there is choice.
I'm either going to get enlightened or I'm not going to get enlightened. Use that example. Doesn't make any difference if I think I'm doing something or not, or all that. It's going to happen or it's not going to happen. I mean, it's either the conditioning is going to lift or it's not going to lift. There's something powerless about it.
Yes. Well, in a way, the idea, this idea, let's say Dawn is here for enlightenment. So this idea, I want to become enlightened, this interest or this need or want is just simply arising, as is the energy putting in the so-called process, which is just a process itself, There's just no one separated doing the interest and putting in the energy. That's just a simply, as far as it seems, a body mind system or whatever you want to call it, putting, it's no different than planting tomatoes. There's a body planting tomatoes and harvesting the tomatoes, as there's a body on the way to enlightenment, But there's no one separated, there's no one in the body, so to say, or behind the body or beneath the body or below, doing the interest and putting in the effort. But at the same time, there's just a lot of effort innocently put in the so-called path, which is this already. In that sense, it already is just simply what it is. The need, the choice, the wanting, the longing, the putting in the effort. There's just no one separated from whatever is happening as a separated doer. Yes, there seems to be a body, Dawn, called Dawn, the body calling itself Dawn, doing a lot of things, speaking, talking about enlightenment and the need for it. But there's no little, as far as it seems here, there's no little Dawn in that body making the lips move as a separated mini Dawn somewhere to be found there, or firing the certain neurons which creates thought, so to say, to make it practical. I mean, and then again, that's just another explanation how it could be or how it maybe is, which is this already, as is the liking of it or not, the going along with it, the finding it interesting, or the resonating with the whole suggestion that there is no separation, is already not separated from the suggestion itself. It's already just this. So sitting in a meeting is already not separated from sitting in a meeting. Wheels turning is just wheels turning. So this grasping, done. There can be a grasping, right? Okay. So I have to take in those words, and see it and look and let it, I have to think about it. This is already the whole process, like understanding and trying to get it is already innocently happening, closing the eyes and listening, and there's no one separated closing the eyes. There's just a body closing the eyes and focusing on the words, but there's no one behind the focusing as a separated you doing the focusing or making the ears like this big to get every word. Almost becoming just one big ear.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, no problem.
I don't know how to silence those calls without going off the meeting.
But I like I like always what you are saying, Don, and it's I like the wonder and the interest there. It's just it plays beautiful. So there just seems to be an interest to go to these meetings, and the whole interest to join here tonight, so to say, is innocently, there's no one owning that interest. It's no different than watching football. Tonight is the Dutch, team playing to the Romanian team. And, that interest doesn't seem to play. The interest to be here and do a talk seems to play. But equally is just simply innocently, the longing to go and watch a football match or, to talk about nothing and everything and about enlightenment and that there is no separation, this interest which seems to play is already none, it's nobody's interest. There's no one owning this interest or doing the interest here to show up or to play football or to take your wife out shopping, that idea or that interest may just simply arise. There's no one there's no one pushing that interest into this, so to say, because the interest is already this. Rosa.
Dawn, sweetheart, hey, you remember we wanted to have a chat? I still want. Here's still the impulse to do so. Let's go for this. Sorry.
You know, it's funny. So I talked about this with Rosa, you know. So there seems to be an interest to pick up characters, you know, from all types of meetings, from Emerson and from this meeting, and then like offering time to do a talk, and that interest, so to say, is just innocently playing out there, you know, asking Don, you know, come, let's do a talk. It was already last week, and then, you know, it's just an interest, you know, but there's no one in that, you know, so-called physical body there called Rosa doing that interest, you know, or owning that interest as a separated someone, separated from the interest there, you know. There's no one creating that interest in there. It's just an interest. Just falls out of thin air, so to say. It just arises. You know, the idea to ask you, Don, as far as it seems here, is just arising there innocently. Boom. Let's ask Don again to do a talk with me. And then there's an innocent answer there from Don, or no answer, you know, which is also an answer. But there's no one doing that. There's no one, you know, I'm going to answer this or this. And even if that is happening, then it's already just innocently what's happening. It just plays free. Let me see. I'm going to let anybody in. I'm going to let somebody in. I don't know if this is a Zoom boomer or how you call it. Let's see.
Boom him away. No, it's not. We know AS already. Hello?
Yeah, it's funny. Claiming that we know, you know, AS. Garrett. We let Garrett in. Garrett, we need in this talk. Everybody needs a Garrett. No, so like I said in the beginning, there's just simply the directness of whatever is happening, and needs, wants, you know, certain beliefs, certain likes, certain dislikes, you know, and these needs, likes, dislikes are just dancing around, you know, they are changing, they are shifting, they are collapsing, they are dissolving, whatever fancy word you want to give it. You know, and there's no one behind the likes, you know, they're just one day waking up and there may be the interest to become a psychologist, and then there is an effort put in the study to become a psychologist, you know. There's just simply no one separated putting in the effort. And then suddenly one day maybe waking and no, I don't, you know, this is too much of a work, you know, becoming a psychologist. No. Then it simply drops, you know, this interest to continue may just simply stop. And it may, you know, change into another interest, or it may just completely stop. But the interest, it doesn't stop for you as something which is separate from the interest. I love the way you focus, Don. I'm just, goddamn.
Don, I wonder what's going on in your head over there. Is there anything going on or nothing? You know, they say nothing. Nothing is happening, actually. I'm curious. I'm simply curious. It's so interesting to see the characters booming out whatsoever. It's beautiful. All these beautiful ideas innocently popping up, coming and going, changing, swirling around. Love it.
Swirling around. Yeah, nice, huh, Rosa?
Love it.
Swirling around. Yeah.
Love it.
Dancing around an empty center. It's just needs and likes dancing around, and you know, the need for my favorite porridge, so to say, suddenly stopped overnight. God damn, I couldn't live without that porridge. And then overnight, you know, the next day, no need to eat it anymore. The box is still in the basement. And then maybe one day just suddenly there will up an interest, you know, and then probably a body will go down the basement and try to find a box with porridge and start eating it or not. You know, anything may happen. I mean,
Be careful with the expiry date, sweetheart.
yeah, but it's dried stuff. But thanks you for the warning, you know.
You're welcome.
I'm happy you want to
Pleasure.
help me. Yeah. What would I do without Rosa reminding me of an expiring date?
I know. That's why I'm here.
So there is, you know, it's funny because there is an expiring date, so to say, but it's, you know, there's no expiring date for anyone. You know, there's just an expiring date, but not for you or me
Or the porridge.
or the porridge. It will just simply expire, you know. It will go, you know, flesh will turn a pale color, and then suddenly it just will, you know, dissolve into ashes or like maggots or whatever. But it, you know, it doesn't happen for you as a separate, you know, this body doesn't collapse for you as a separated you from the body. There's just a body collapsing, you know, dissolving, you know, getting sick, you know, getting cancer, for example. There's, you know, it's just innocently happening. So this body will not stop for you. The body already didn't rose for you. There was not a you, and then suddenly this body arose for you. I have to.
There was not the you. There was not the you, and suddenly you popped in. Whoop! Here I am.
Here I am. I have to check. Garrett, how are you doing this week? Nice to see you.
Trouble with my computer.
Oh, but it seems to work fine, Garrett. We see you and we hear you. At least that's what's going on.
Could you see me earlier, or did I freeze?
No, we saw you, but then suddenly, you know, you were gone. I was thinking, well, maybe he decided to do something else, you know, because you told me that the hand was going more to the football, and I know there's a football match going on tonight. It's Romania and the Netherlands, so I was thinking, well, you know, good for Garrett. He's find his life goal tonight.
No, it's okay. The football ended about 10 to 7 for us, the Netherlands game. So I'm not too worried about the football really, but my wife is watching it. But it's my computer that's giving me trouble. I tried to join the Zoom at about 10 to 7, and it froze again. And it's about 10 years old, so maybe time I'll have to get a fresh one.
Well, we hear you. I hear, you know, the sound is very fresh here, so to say.
I got one of these little things, you know, one of these, what do you call them, tabs? Not tabs, what do you call them?
Tablets.
Tablets. I started trying to get onto this one with Facebook, and that wanted a new chat-in pin. So that is making it more complicated to find a pin to chat on Facebook. So when I got this thing going, I had a Zoom from already not two. You know, the gentleman from where is he from? Is it Belgium?
Yeah, I think Nico Ronald, right? Yes.
Yes, that's right. I had his thing starting to come up. Unless it's on an old recording, maybe, but so yeah. I'm not very good with computers. all I seem to get is ad blocker from Chrome and stuff like that, and it spoils the computer to all this other stuff coming in all the time when you don't need it.
Yeah, it's a bit bummer. Yeah.
Totally, Garrett. I'm with you.
I
Same
wasn't.
here.
I thought we only had that stuff in Wales and England, but not abroad, like in America and wherever. I thought it was just around here. So, yeah, that all confused me tonight. I was going to say a few words, but with that computer mucked it all up. So,
But it works now, Garrett. Beautiful. How
yeah,
are you? How do you
oh,
feel?
okay, okay. I, I often think I should say something, but I was going to write down a few notes, but I didn't have time, right? Because the computer wouldn't start. And I was going to say that the speakers that I listen to, I don't know yet of anyone who is, how would you say, a little sad or every one of the speakers is very jovious. Jovious is the word. Happy, by the end of the talk. And I don't know of any yet are very depressed or down. So it seems like when somebody gets this, if that's the right word, you're not going to be you're going to be like Rosa, very, very happy and boom, boom, boom.
Well, it's funny because I mentioned this last week. I asked, is there anyone having an idea that certain speakers behave in a certain way, that something is reached there? And I mean, it's so funny, it's so innocent, the conclusion there, Garrett, that so-called speakers are jovial, how you call it, or happy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, so to say, as far as I would say that if you kick a so-called speaker between his legs, he will not be so friendly. I mean, this will probably, the idea that there is always laughter, is I mean, this is also a little bit the idea, the innocent idea that so-called speakers are always friendly and that they, even when you hit them, that they turn the other cheek and that they are in a certain state of blissfulness. Well, I don't think so. Sorry. Um, did to speak about this so-called speaker, so to say, this one can be irritated also when he's cut off in traffic, or when whatever, I cannot think about something, but let's say irritation may just simply arise, or laughter, or frustration, or whatever, it's just simply what's happening. There's nothing fancy or special about irritation or needs or wants, um, when the boss is not paying the money, I'm not going to say, well, you don't have to pay the money. I'm going to call him probably and say, well, where's my goddamn money? I worked the whole month. So, it's just simply whatever is happening.
Yeah.
There is no one in a certain state already. There's just simply the state. Let's say there's just the state going on and there's no one in it. There's happiness, laughter, sadness, wants, needs, likes. They just play around. Emotions.
Yes. When I look at, for example, Tony and uh, Rosa and Michael, just a few, I can't imagine those guys being upset or.
Oh, I can promise you that sadness is arising there with Rosa, with
Yeah,
Michael, and
totally, Garrett.
maybe they want to speak themselves about sadness, and probably they will admit, yeah, sadness may just simply happen, you know, when your kid is in the hospital or whatever, you know, or when you have to kill your dog because it's full of cancer, you know, tears may just simply roll out of these eyes. You know, when
And
you
it's
have to
best,
when you have to drive your father to the hospital because he has lung cancer, and you don't know if he's going to make it, worries may just simply arise. It's natural, you know, sadness, happiness.
and you just cannot resist it. You know, if you feel anger or sadness, trying to
Well,
resist it does not help, does it?
well, it does, you know, I mean, let's say, so what's the problem with anger, you know, anger and frustration or happiness? It's just what it is. And, you know, here, there's no issue with sadness, there's no issue with happiness, there's no issue with anger. I have no issue, there's no issue with anger or sadness or happiness, nor is there a need to be smiling the whole day. You know, there's no effort putting in to be a bubbly, smiley person the whole day. No. So here there's no problem with anger, frustration, or needs or wants. It's pretty natural to be or normal to emotions. You know, there's just emotions dancing around, Garrett. There's no one doing them. There's no one owning them. There's just full on emotion, full on happiness. You know, winning the lottery. You know, probably this body will scream and say yeah or whatever. I don't know. Maybe, probably.
How sweet. Garrett, there is simply full on aliveness, and there is not two in a way, not Garrett and life, not a Xander and life, but only life. This makes it simple, and there is no problem with this because there is no one who can have a problem. Just full on sadness, crying, emotions, and that's it.
But
Boom.
yeah, but I agree, Garrett. So here I would say there you know there seems to be many speakers who don't address, although there's no one doing the addressing, but you know there's not much talk about you know what is happening, so to say. It seems like speakers are blissful and always happy, and you know and they never address that sadness may arise. um,
They are addressing more that nothing is happening. Nothing is moving, nothing is happening. This has been more addressed, I guess.
yeah, which you know here to say those types of absolute statements, it's quite funny because I mentioned this many times before. You're not going to say to your kid in the hospital who has broken his leg that nothing is happening, or to your father who you drive to the hospital because of cancer in the lungs. You're not going to say, well, nothing is happening. So yeah,
But there is the idea. But there is the idea when I get this, I will see that nothing is
ah, yeah,
happening.
yes, yes,
So this is the solution. No problem. When nothing is happening, I'm happy.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I thought it was going to be like. You know,
yeah,
when I get it, everything is
beautiful.
lives happy ever after.
Well, I mean, anything can happen, you know, being happy and thinking that you got it. You know, there may be an innocent idea. Well, today I was in a happy, you know, attitude, so probably I got it now, you know, because this is how it should feel. I'm so happy. So this whole week I was very happy. So oh my God, I'm so close now. And then the next day, you know, your wife says that you have to work harder in the garden or clean the dishes. And then there's some anger going out or frustration. And you think by yourself, shit, you know, ah, I was frustrated. I have to do more work. I'm far away from the end state, you know, because I was not liking what my wife was saying. So probably I'm not there yet, which is already just simply this idea is that there is a certain state which is reachable. And in that state, when I get this, I'm always going to be happy and smiley and bubbly. That itself is already just simply innocently arising. The idea how it should be and how I should feel is already this.
So no change by the look of it.
Yeah, we can say no change in that sense, because it's already just simply this, you know?
Here, Garrett, definitely nothing changed. It's always been like this.
Well, again, I've heard a lot of speakers over the years. They often say, well, when I found it or when I got it, I laughed for 3 weeks, that type of thing. I haven't heard that lately, but I remember that a lot, and as they got it, they laughed and laughed and laughed.
Well,
These,
anything can happen, laughing for 3 weeks, or crying. I mean, anything can basically happen, being, certain, we talked about conditionings with Chris, certain conditionings or certain behavioral patterns, so to say, there may be a drop of seriousness, but there was already no you being serious. There was just a seriousness. Let's call it the behavioral pattern, but it was not, there was no one doing the seriousness. There was no you owning the seriousness. And this seriousness may just simply intensify. It may just simply be less. It may become less, or it may just simply stop. So there may be taking things seriously, and then suddenly there's a shift, so to say, but the shift is not for you. There's just a shift in seriousness. There's just seriousness intensifying or being less serious, and it has already nothing to do with you. Yes, Rosa, go ahead.
While listening to this, sweetheart, with the seriousness here, it played out like I love to confront my emotions and feelings because I always thought they are wrong. Why are you afraid? Why? Always when something labeled as negative popped up, I thought that I have to make it good. So when I heard what's wrong with you, what's wrong with your feelings, what's wrong with everything, this clicked. And then this was, I call it therapy. I loved it. I loved it. I simply confronted the triggers, all the triggers directly. No matter, so in a way I showed myself nothing wrong. So calling this fear or joy, it's the same. It's just booming aliveness. Only the label of this is bad and this is good has and this simply, like you said, it's not serious. I cannot take this serious anymore.
It's
It's
nice to
just easy
hear.
going.
It's
It's
very
just
nice.
quite easy going, but it's full on sadness, full on emotions, everything, and then it's full on and then quite fast gone, like a cloud passing by.
When it does come over you like a black cloud, it really can, what's the word, overwhelmed by it, you can't resist it. It just,
Full on being overwhelmed, no matter what. There is just whole and complete, no matter what is. Nothing is missing.
you just have to perhaps wait for 2 or 3 hours until the sun comes out again, in a way.
Everything is coming and going the whole time, no matter what.
Exactly. And this was already the case. Needs, likes, happiness, sadness, wonder, aggression, whatever, it was already just simply the case from the so-called start to the so-called finish. It's just dancing around freely, emotions, certain behavioral patterns, being like a serious character may just simply drop. It may just slowly drop, slowly this seriousness can fade away, or one day waking up, and nothing is serious anymore. You're just joking, and you don't take things so heavily anymore. It's just simply playing out, dancing and arising and changing and shifting. It was already just simply the case.
It is very scary, can be very scary, like we just said. You're overwhelmed by it, and
Yeah.
you get a bit of relief for a while, and as it comes and goes, and yeah, that's the way the cookie.
That's the way the cookie crumbles, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Loving the message, confront your emotions, is this already. No one doing, it's just what's happening. Very simple, very simple, very simple. In the immediacy of what is, it's just blah, 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 and putting label on the blah, blah, understanding this blah, blah or not. There is no need to understand anything.
It's the same.
So I've already missed 4 phone calls since I've been on the meeting, so I need to get.
Bye, Chris.
Bye, Chris. Take care. So Garrett, you know, this so-called interest to be here tonight is also coming and going. You know, Chris was also saying, Don also said it. You know, the interest to be here and to sometimes not be here is just coming and going. You know, it's just playing out freely. You know, and it may at one point, you know, this interest to be here at all, you know, at a meeting may just simply stop. You know, before there was no interest, you know, maybe 5 years, 2 years, 1 year ago, there was no interest to join here, maybe, you know, to join a meeting. And then suddenly at one certain point, you know, there was an interest to check it out, to read a book, to attend a meeting, you know, to go to a theater, to watch a movie, to whatever, to watch football. And then suddenly this will just change, you know. The need may just simply drop, or the need may be very intense, you know. I have to watch every non-duality meeting. I have to go to all of them. This may happen. I have to go to Emerson, to Tim, to Jim, to Tony, to Andreas. I have to go to all of them. You know, this may happen. And then suddenly, well, I'm not going to anyone anymore, you know. Now it's football.
No, I don't watch any of the other speakers like I used to.
I'm not, I understand, but it's, you know, I mean, it's just an example, you know, maybe, you know, I mean, there's nothing wrong about
But
watching.
this is so cool. But this is so cool, Garrett, that you're simply joining Xander's Zoom. This is cool, and we love you.
I think because it was a free Zoom.
Yeah, well, great. You know, you don't have to pay, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, I get it. You know, it's free. Let's check it out. You know, I don't lose money at least. That's a good thing. You know, I don't have to pay. So that's always good. So let me check it out. Yeah. It's so natural, Garrett. I mean, if maybe if there was a, you know, a sign where you know, or this one was on Patreon where you have to pay, then probably you would say, I have to pay. No, I'm not paying for this. God damn, you know, I don't spend money for this. I want to, you know, it's all just playing out.
Mm.
And maybe there are people paying, you know, there are people doing donations. They don't even watch this. Don't even in the show, and they do a donation. They don't show up, but they donate. So it just plays out in different ways, you know, the need to pay, the need to donate, or thinking if it costs money, well, then I'm not going to show up for sure. It's already just simply this.
Yeah, I don't like complication of joining things like what do you call it, Patreon and all those things. And I got to tell the wife how much I spent, and she'll write it in the book. And I don't want the complication anymore.
Yeah, beautiful. Simple. Simple. I get you, Garrett.
And you know, I don't want that complication anymore. It's just arising. I don't want the complication with my wife. It's just simply this already. There's no one behind the not wanting to make things complicated at home. It just pops up. I have no interest to have an issue with my wife, so I don't tell her, or I don't go there, because when I go there and she find out, then I have a problem, and I don't want that. The whole that is by itself just going on, and this may change. You know, at one point maybe there is a saying, well, wife, it's nice what you have for type of ideas, but I'm going to do it anyway. This may, you know, maybe becomes a fight or an argument.
Yeah.
It just innocently, this whatever this is, let's go life, is just free to be however it is, you know. It just plays in many different ways. That's the freedom. It plays as, I don't want my wife to know this. I don't want this to happen. I want that to happen. It plays out as the idea what freedom is and how enlightenment looks. It plays out as putting your finger up in a non-duality meeting and trying to get the word attention. Yes, Rosa, go ahead.
And getting it, beautiful.
Getting it, yeah. So innocent.
So can we say that this is full on aliveness, no one in it, and the me is simply a beautiful idea which may drop.
Yeah, you can say it whatever you can say it however you want. I mean, whatever has been suggested, and I think it's a beautiful suggestion, Rosa. Is it already? If you think life is a shithole or a shit show, it's equally just this, If you think like this is heaven or this is hell and you go to heaven later on, it's already just simply this. So yeah, you can say, I mean, saying this is this or this is that is already just simply this. It's already what's happening, as is the liking of it, the not liking of it, the agreeing, the not agreeing, the thinking is terrible, uh, the temporary liking. I mean, this may just swiftly change into, I spent so many hours, in those meetings. What the hell was I thinking? This can happen. It will not happen for you. The idea that you wasted your time on non-duality meetings or spirituality may just simply happen. One day there's maybe waking up and thinking, oh shit, I spoiled all my time going to meetings while I could have been with my wife or with my kid or with my mother or with my daughter, whatever. Why in the hell? This reflecting may just simply happen. And out of that reflection may just simply be the choice to do something else. But there's no one behind the choosing. There's no one separated doing the reflecting, and there's no one separated doing the choice to do something else. There's just, I'm not going to do this anymore in the future. But there's no one behind that choice. Just pops. It arises, or however you want to call it. It falls out of thin air. It's like rain dropping. It's like the wind blowing.
I think that I am here, but it'd be nice one day to say, I know there's no one here, like you said then.
This is exactly, Garrett, this is what I meant. Like, this is, no one knows it.
No,
This
no.
is beyond understanding. So
But it's
there is
nice.
not going to be
Yeah.
a Garrett who can claim afterwards, whatever this means, I know now, I got it. So this is not about us. This is not about you, not about me. This is just this.
The longing is it, Garrett? The longing which, the expression, I hope one day I could say, I get it, I understand it. It's already, that longing is already just simply this. That craving, that need for one day to finally feel it or see it or be able to say there's just this, and I believe it or I feel it or I know it is already just simply this, including all types of ideas, how that so-called moment will look like with all the so-called features which it will have, the certain type of benefits certain people may have when they know this, this assumption, like we talked before, that people who talk about this are in a certain state is already just simply this. There's no one in any state. There's just the state of this. This is it. There's just the state of life. There's no one in any state.
So in the state of life, there's also in the state of life, there's what appears in the state of life is a you that thinks you're a you. And that is life.
Yeah.
Period. That's beautiful. So there's no place to go, no place to get, unless you want to go somewhere, you want to get something, you can
Which
do
is
that
equal
too.
now. Yeah, which
But
is
it's okay
equal.
now. It's okay now. So
Yeah.
it's okay to be a you. If
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what you're doing, that's what you're doing. It's okay to be a you, and that's equal as those teachers that you're speaking about,
Yeah,
whatever they're doing.
exactly. Yes. Just
And also, it doesn't have to be like the teachers that are just laughing all the time, and and there's nothing here, and that particular jargon that's used to explain this. That's not it. That's just what's happening.
yeah.
So I guess what I'm trying to say, Gareth, do you like, as I look at you, that's if I looked at Tony Parsons now, using him, or look at you, no difference. And I'd prefer to look at you as just a preference.
Oh, it's the same here, Don.
I
It's
get more
the
from
same.
you, but
Yeah, beautiful. Yes, yes. I totally agree. Here, there's total resonating with this expression there from Don. Yeah, there's totally no difference between you or Tony Parson or Rose or Michael. It's just but there's just bodies making sounds, to say it. And then there's a liking of a certain body making a sound, and a disliking of another body making a sound, so to say. But it's, that's just it.
Yes, I'm not sure. Did we say life with an F or light as opposed to darkness? But you could say that this is a light show in a way. What we see and hear and all that. It feels physical also, but it's
Yeah, I think.
It has like a, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, brother. Take your moment.
Yeah, I like that, Gareth, right? Because right now this we can say is and isn't. You could say it has like a dream-like quality, right? A dream is, but then when you wake up, where's the dream? It isn't. So we can say this moment, it's very you can't grab it, right? You can't hold it.
yeah.
And that's in a way that's what this me is trying to do, right? It's trying to grasp something and hold it and get it. And there's already no you doing you.
Yes, everything is impersonal.
Nobody owns this. And that's the freedom.
So we can say there's just freedom, or there's just prison at the same time.
It does feel like a light show. When I heard people say that I traveled from Wales to America, and it feels as if I didn't actually move.
Yeah. Yeah, is and isn't. You did go to Wales, so to say, and you never went to Wales.
There's just a body traveling, so as far as it seems, going here and there, but there's no one actually doing the movement as a separated you doing the body. There's just a a body moving. It's always here in a way.
So you could say the body is not actually moving, as if you were sitting in the seat in a cinema with everything going around you, the sound and the pictures and the images, and you don't actually get out of your chair. You can look at it like that.
But everything what was said now is just blah blah, just another idea, just another concept.
Yeah, exactly.
It has really nothing to do. We can sleep the whole time here in the meeting. It's the same. It doesn't matter to understand something or not. It's just the idea that one thought after the other, one thought after the other. So what is this without any thought, without any idea? What is this? It's what it is. This does not need any idea. And ideas may arise. Why not? I love the directness of what is, whatever this means. This is also just a concept.
Yeah.
But this is the boom. That's it.
You could even say there's only concepts.
Yeah. Exactly. There's only concepts, and even that is a concept, so to say. I mean, or there are only thoughts. Well, that's another thought. Or there are only stories. Well, that's another story. That there are only stories.
Simple.
Yeah, and even just this is a concept.
Oh yeah. There is not a justice, there isn't even a this, so to say. At the same time, saying that there's just this or not is already this in a way, but there's not a thing called this.
Seems so tiny, like the the penny. What do you say? The point of a needle. It's so tiny, and the center of my me is so tiny that it disappears, or never was there. You might say, but yeah. Yeah, there's still more concepts. Yeah.
Yeah, it just pops up out of thin air, I would say. It just arises, the blabbling, it's like this or it's like that. So it's the me is like this or the me is like that or the me is not or the me isn't is already just simply coming out, and there's a certain alignment and a certain engagement with thoughts, but all that is just happening freely, so to say, like words dancing around, like Rosa is saying. It's all just coming. Oh, it's probably it's similar like this, or maybe it's like that, which is already just simply this. It's just the directness of whatever is happening. Thinking about it, believing it,
For example, here, Garrett, back to this having a problem. So we can say no me, no probe, right? Very logical. But this here is really beyond logic, any logic. This is not about logic. It's not about a sense. This is completely senseless, as you like. So we can say it's energetic. And this is maybe the empty part of it. No matter what is happening, it's quite empty. Which causes just also blah, which causes this laughing for 3 days. What a joke.
And that too is a concept.
Yeah,
Oh
of
yeah.
course.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's just what's popping up innocently, so boom, for no reason.
Or a story.
But that popping up innocently for no reason, that's a concept. But
what's wrong with concept?
There's nothing. Well, because we say we can't know this. It's all a concept, but then people come into these rooms and they're going to hear this stuff, and the natural thing is, okay, sounds cool, and then it turns into a concept for them. So I'm trying to figure out how this is to be communicated, this brilliant stuff that's being communicated, without having new people pick up like a concept. Because when I hear it here or anywhere, it's always like, I always hear it sometimes as, not with you guys so much, but I really I understand where you guys are coming from, I think.
Be careful, Don. Be careful. Careful.
Go ahead. With what?
What you're going to say here.
Go ahead. My ears are so big.
What?
I want to hear what Don is saying. Please continue.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
I can't remember now.
I will help you. So you guys are not like saying this like this, but there are guys who are.
Oh, like they know, and it. I mean, then they'll say, oh, "I don't know," but when I look at them, from my point, they think they know. I'm saying I have a sense of you guys know that you don't know, just because I don't know why. Because I've been around you guys. But other people, I just think they think they know. They really do think they know, but they say, "Oh, but I don't know," because that's the cool thing to do. That's how you become a great teacher nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, and so.
So Don, maybe you simply are not going to watch them because you simply see, okay, I mean, they can talk a lot.
Yeah, I still watch them.
Okay, you see,
because I can get value from anybody. I've learned how to do that. I can get value from a charlatan.
Yeah, and Don here what's popping up innocently so, lovingly so, is seeing that there is always looking for the value of this.
Yes. For me. Yes. Right. Yes, absolutely. Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
that's beautiful.
It's what it is. Saying this is beautiful or shit, it's the same. Here, simply this opposites, duality, good, bad. This thing quite flat, you know, it's quite flat here. So so here is not anymore the value thing drops. I don't know why. There is simply, you know, it's what it is.
Well, values for me. That's what drops, is that trying to get it for me. There's already no me, even right now. All these voices are just coming from bodies. It's so beautiful, right? Rosa loves the characters. It's like a play. You have some characters you're going to like, some you're not.
Yeah.
But at the same time, finding this conversation valuable, you know, is already just simply what is, you know. There's a certain type of value, or else there was not a showing up. So there's a certain type of value, you know, but there's no one finding this having any value. There's just a value, you know. It just plays out.
Yeah, the value isn't for anybody.
Value is not for anyone, and no one is doing the finding it valuable. At the same time, finding it valuable is already just this, you know. Finding this more valuable than watching football is already just simply this. But there's no one putting more value on the going to a meeting instead of going to football. But at the same time, there's putting more value to go here tonight than somewhere else. But there's just no separated someone doing the adding value to a meeting or to football. And when it comes to
the idea that this has value for me is this already.
Yeah.
Is exactly this already. There is no difference. There is no difference in value for know me or value for me. What is me and know me? What is this? Tell me, Don, tell me.
It's value for me, meaning growth. Value for me, meaning
Special.
use these words. Put it this way: the value for me in knowing more that there's no me.
Well, I have a question, Don. Do you need a me to have growth? Can there just be growth there?
No.
Why not?
Well, because there's a me there.
But I'm saying there can just be growth, there can just be value, there can just be getting hungry. It all just plays out innocently, however it's coming out right now.
Growth. You know, does the body need to
You could
separate
say
the dawn to grow? You know, does the body need to separate the dawn to grow, or is the body just growing? You know, is there someone doing
no.
the growing?
Yeah. Well, something is doing the growing, or the
Oh
body
yeah,
is doing it.
yes, but is that something separated from the from the doing itself? There's just the growing. You know, there's no one separated doing the growing.
Okay, but the growing is being done in the service of dawn.
Well, you can put it any way you want. Yes, you can call that body done, and then the growing you can call it the dawn is growing. Yes, you can call it there's just a meat body growing or whatever you want to. But there's no one separated doing the growing. There's just an obviously growing of the body. There's already nothing to do with the you doing the growing. There's no you in the body
Right.
making it grow as a separated you doing the growing. There's no you owning the body as a separated you owning the body which is growing or diminishing or getting sick. There's no you doing the sickness, right? So the sickness already doesn't need a separated you for the body to become sick. There's just a sickness. And even the calling the body sick is already not done by somebody separate from a body calling it the body sick.
Okay. But the body getting sick is for my growth. So the body is getting sick. The body's just getting sick, but it's not just getting sick for no reason. He's just getting sick, but it's for my benefit, for my growth.
Okay. So Don, there is
not
this
body, of course. No.
There is this special thing going on, right?
What?
Like like I am here for purpose. This is special to be here in a way.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
right.
Okay. No, beautiful, beautiful.
Sure.
If this is in this is in a way, well, yeah, yeah. It's just it's simply how the cookie crumbles. What a beauty. Yeah. Here it's like in the directness of what is, there is simply life, full on aliveness. No special, no simple, very, very simple, very simple. Listening to Dawn, hearing about the special thing, that's it.
Okay. But that's beautiful. But to the individual, the feeling that there is value and there is a specialness is critical to that growth. So what you're saying is true, don't disagree with it at all. But the other that I'm advocating a little bit here is just as true. And they both can be together without being one.
Well, it's equally just this, when you say
Yeah.
it's equally just this.
Here is no, I cannot speak about truth. I have no idea what true is or false,
Right.
This is the simplicity I'm talking about. And those ideas about, those opposites in a way. What is this beyond the opposites? Good, bad, true, not true, false, wrong, right. Special, not special, me, not me. Same thing.
I would say it's equally special or not special.
Yeah, those are good words.
So everything is as special as everything is, or not special.
Right. I like that. I like those words. Now it's like you just presented a big field, like everything. And now you can play however you want to in the field.
Yeah. If that is how this is seen or heard, so to say, then that is just simply this. That's the freedom. I'm not disagreeing, Don. It's just simply, if that is how it is seen and how this is, heard, or that's it already. If this is how it is received there, then it's just simply how it is received there.
And there is no there and here.
Yeah, and at the same time, here is in Sweden and there is in Germany. At the same time, I would say from this so-called perspective, it's all happening here. You guys, so to say, are happening here. It's here where it's happening, here.
Whatever this.
I don't hear you in Germany. I hear you here. Everything is always here. I don't hear Michael in Los Angeles. I hear Michael here, so to say.
Well, I would say it's time to meet. Sweetheart, I'm coming. I'm flying.
You're welcome. So I see that we almost hit the 1.5 hour mark.
Uh-oh.
I would like to thank everybody. Don, you want to say maybe something?
I just went, well, I didn't get enlightened. Oh, sorry, Tim, one second. I didn't get enlightened, but in this meeting, but I'm a little closer.
Oh.
And so take that as you do, but I'm a little closer to enlightenment. So thank you. And next week I will update you. And if I'm not here next week, that means I ascended. I left. I'm white light. Contact me there, and I'll try to communicate.
Before
the real truth is.
Don, before booming out, think of me and contact me, okay? For a nice chat, for a nice blah blah.
Send me your email address.
Email address?
Or your text, whatever. Otherwise, I don't know how to get to you.
Okay, how can we
put it in the chat? Just put it direct to me. And then
okay.
You guys can figure it out, Figure it out. I would like to thank Patricia, Tony. I didn't hear you, and I don't know if there's any last words from you. Either Patricia wants to share something. AS, you were in the dark, but thank you for joining. Lovely. Garrett, sweet guy. Patricia, Don, everybody. Thank you very, very much. Tony, anything? Patricia, anything?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sander.
Thank you for the
I love
openness. Such a joy to be here, as far as it seems.
it. Mwah. Love ya. Thank you.
Take care, guys. Have a beautiful
Bye.
day, night, morning. Beam me up, Scotty. Done.
Don,
wanna
wait
go?
a sec.